Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am just going to be painting a succulent plant in my sketchbook. The paints that I'll be using are the Turner Acryla Gouache, specifically the Japanesque style. I'm using a limited color palette, which is something I really enjoy doing just to keep my painting cohesive. So I picked a few random colors. I chose jet black, light green, pale pink, and deep beige. So I'll mix these colors to essentially just create new colors that work together. The paintbrushes that I'll be using are the Princeton Velvet Touch paintbrushes. These are my favorite paintbrushes to use when painting with acrylic gouache. And I am also doing my painting in a Etchr sketchbook. So this is the perfect sketchbook. So it has the deckled edges. This one is hot pressed. When I started this painting, I drew my sketch and then I transferred it into my sketchbook. And then I drew over it with a pen just so I could see the lines better as I painted, because I knew I would be completely covering them up with this opaque gouache. I really like starting with a color on my backgrounds, so I chose opera pink, which is just a really bright pink. And I end up painting over all of it, but it kind of gives a unique look to it, or it gives a unique look to the painting, and sometimes you can see like those spots of opera pink up through. I generally only do this in my sketchbook though, because this paint is not light fast. The opera pink isn't, at least. And then I just start in coloring everything in, or like painting everything, so I get my base color down. I started with mixing the light green and the jet black to make the green that I'm using right now. I love when you mix yellow and black together, or like yellow ochre. I feel like it gives a really natural looking green that you would find like in nature. I feel like when you mix yellow and blue, it's kind of like a fake green that you don't necessarily see in nature. I don't know, I just like the color of black and like a yellow or yellow ochre. For the base of my pot in this painting, I'm using the pale pink, which is almost like a white. Going into the stems of the succulent, I'm using the deep beige color straight out of the tube. I don't really think I mixed it with anything, but I'm kind of just painting this like a coloring book, so I'm getting all of my colors in the spots that I want, and then I'll go in later and do highlights and shadows. I don't think I did any highlights in this one, just shadows. I'll be doing a checkerboard pattern for the plant pot, which I'm also using that deep beige color as well. And you can kind of see how the color looks a little bit different when it's placed on top of a different color. You can kind of still see the color behind it, so it kind of behaves a little bit differently. I did kind of feel like I had a difficult time painting this just because the colors are all very muted that I chose. The light green, pale pink, and deep beige. Like, there's nothing really bright they're all just very muted, so I had a little bit difficult of a time mixing the colors, especially with the background being so bright. I was kind of nervous on how it turned out, but I think that's kind of the fun of picking a limited palette, especially when I do something like this and I don't go in with any goals or like expectations or anything. I'm just playing around in my sketchbook. I like to randomly pick colors, so I just have like a drawer full of my paints and I'll just like randomly grab whatever. Like I intentionally grabbed the black and I intentionally grabbed the light green just to see how that would create a different green. And then the other two were just completely random. I just grabbed like a light color and then went for like a brown. One reason I like doing that is because it gets you to work outside of your comfort zone and to try new things. And I have a ton of paints, and if I would just pick the same paints over and over, my other ones would never get touched. So for me, it's a way of using colors that I wouldn't normally use. And I enjoy trying to do, I don't know, different things than I would normally do, just to see how it would turn out. So I did do a little bit of highlights on the stems with that bright lime green, which I believe is just the light green straight out of the tube, which really helped brighten up the painting. And then the step of adding in the shadows really helped as well. And these greens are definitely mixed with just the light green and the black. And this is the part where I cover over my background, or I paint over it. Like, I should just paint it black to begin with since I'm gonna cover it up anyways, but you kind of get those spots of the bright pink showing through, so that's why I like doing this. And this is kind of where you can see those colors that I use change, and they'll stand out a bit more since black is so dark. And my final step for this is going around all of my line work with a deeper green color just to make it stand out a little bit more. I'm trying to not do outlines as much anymore, but it's really my default when I have nothing planned or nothing in mind. So maybe I'll start doing that in my next videos or my next sketches. But for this one, I felt like the lines just really needed to be there since my leaves are so basic, I guess. There really isn't a lot of color in them, and it kind of helps separate them from what's forward and what's in the background. So I went through my entire illustration using outlines, which I like the look of. Like, I like doing it, I'm used to it, and I kind of do it on everything, but I'm also wanting to try and do different things. So whenever I don't like something, I just outline it and I like it better. I've had this sketchbook for a really long time, and one of my goals this year is to finish it, so I'm probably going to be working in this one a lot more. I have a lot of pages left in it, and since it's been sitting around so long, I kind of just want to finish it and try a new sketchbook. I do really like the sketchbook though. I like the paper. I don't really like the price point on it. I think it's high, but it is high quality. And that's my final painting. Thanks for watching. Bye.